is their inner voice saying to them when they allow themselves to be stopped by the fear and the doubt? Like what is their inner voice saying? And is their inner voice, I like to call it my inner compass. Do you like those messages? Do those messages feel?
Welcome to Real Talk with Real Leaders, inspiration for radical freedom dreamers, a space where we uplift powerful voices, discover deep wisdom, and spark the courage needed to lead in today's sea of uncertainty. Together, we'll reimagine what's possible, one conversation at a time. I'm your host, Dr. Tracey Samone, Queen of Clarity and Care, and your go-to strategist, facilitator, and coach, helping social impact leaders and organizations get unstuck and get things done. Today, we have a fabulous leader lined up, but first, let's anchor down in the Anchor Way. The Anchor Way is a leadership framework designed to help leaders move forward with clarity, connection, cohesion, care, and courage, even in turbulent waters. Let's take a closer look. Think about leadership like a boat. To move through uncertain waters, it needs to be well-built, well-guided, and well-powered. Every boat is built from something. At the foundation of effective leadership are three essential materials. Clarity, a grounded understanding of where you're headed and why it matters. Connection, the ability to build trust, communicate honestly, and stay rooted in relationships. And cohesion, the alignment between your values, your vision, and your daily decisions. This is what effective leadership is built on. Without it, the structure is fragile, no matter how bold your vision or how skilled your team. Aboard every boat are essentials for the journey to help you set direction, carry the work, and guide your people. The first is the compass, your direction. It represents your vision, your priorities, and your sense of purpose. It helps you stay oriented even when conditions around you are shifting. Next is the cargo, the actual work you're responsible for carrying, the programs you run, the commitments you hold, the culture that you're shaping. These are the things you're building, protecting, or transforming through your leadership. Then there's the crew, the people you lead and journey with, your peers, your partners, your team. They depend on you for clarity, direction, and care. And you depend on them to carry the mission forward. Leadership means resourcing and aligning your crew so that you can move forward together. Below the surface, every organization is influenced by the current. These are the external forces like policy shifts, funding pressures, or community needs that shape your course whether you like it or not. You can't control the current, but you can learn how to navigate it. And what propels the boat forward are two internal forces, care and courage. Care is how you lead with humanity. Courage is how you make hard decisions with integrity. Both are necessary to move through resistance and build something real. Every interview in this series is grounded in one or more parts of the Anchor Way, because we believe leadership is not just about vision. It's about structure, systems, and soul. Welcome back, leaders. Today we have Dr. Sundiata with us, which I'm super excited to have him. Sundiata and I's lives just keep crossing paths in the most strangest of ways. I think because we both prefer to be in liberation spaces and communities, we just keep running into each other. And what I know to be true about Sundiata is that he's a very thoughtful, intentional, kind, and caring leader that's really grounded and just knows how to hold people in space in a way where people feel cared for. And so today we're going to be talking about the topic of courage. But before we do, I'm going to ask Sundiata to introduce himself to you all and tell us a little bit about who you are so that people can get to know you.
Thank you. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. Tracey Samone, thank you for having me. And yes, we've continued to cross paths, run into each other for the reasons you've mentioned. And it's always been a pleasure. I've enjoyed getting to know you in these little, kind of this drip, and just these, the spaces and places where we've been meeting up, and it's been, we've been getting closer and closer and closer, as time's gone along, and I've enjoyed that. You're just a pleasure. So thank you for inviting me to your platform. And, I would say that, I'm trying to think of we're on LinkedIn. So I'm like, okay, what's my LinkedIn bio? But no, I would say that, professionally, I am a, culture consultant, a leadership development coach, an educator, and a trainer, and a facilitator. And I've had diverse variety of experiences in my professional life, kind of like a Swiss Army knife, and able to go into places and make a positive impact. Whether it's leading, collaborating, and doing all the things I just mentioned. And then I also like to say, you mentioned like meeting each other in liberation spaces, in a community level, at a community level, I consider myself a anti-oppression and liberation organizer.
Thank you. So let's talk a little bit about courage, Sundiata. I'm gonna start with soft and easy. So, what role has courage played in your life and your leadership?
I think that courage has played a role in like every phase of it, in the sense that I tend to take the path less, what's that saying? Less traveled.
Yeah.
The path less traveled, and the decisions that I make and where I choose to go and try to be of service. And a lot of times I've chosen unconventional paths, because the unconventional paths were in alignment with my values and my inner guidance. And it required courage because people close to me, people who care about me, at times didn't think that that was the best decision, the best way to go. And I was always, questioned. I've often been questioned. Um, and courage has continued to, I'm sorry. And in the face of those questions, in the face of those challenges, it's been courage, that has allowed me to move forward, um, and trust myself.
So I wonder, I too am very unconventional and find myself on the path least traveled. I wonder for you, like, do you feel that that path calls you to it? Like, what draws you down that path?
Absolutely. Calling. It's not because it's not easy. There's times where I'm like, damn it, I wish I was more conventional, and damn it, I wish I could just fall in line
Yes.
and take the road that was well traveled, you know. But yeah, it's tough. It's definitely been a pull. I've felt pulled my entire life towards purpose, and what my purpose is. And I'm definitely purpose led, purpose driven. And my purpose has taken me down those paths where it requires some chopping down of some trees and stomping out the path that maybe made it easier for others who decide to come with me and journey down that path.
Do you mind telling me if you had to give those trees a name that you had to chop down to stomp down that path to clear the way? What would those trees be called? Like if they had names?
Mm. I would say that, like, what's the word? I'm going for a word about, like, predetermined. Mm, I would say I'm gonna say blocks, fear.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, blockers, fear, the unknown,
Hmm.
you know, and also, systems, certain systems, that make going down that path difficult. Um, yeah, just the way that a lot of our socioeconomic and political systems are, the dominant conventional ones are designed. I've had to move those out the way as well, on that journey to go and discover and continue to move towards my purpose.
Hmm. I travel. I like to hang out in nature and traverse the woods and walk through paths. And sometimes it's not easy, but I always notice like beautiful things along the way, like
Mhm.
flowers or mushrooms or different things. What are some of the beautiful things along the way you've noticed as you go down these hard paths?
Yeah, I've discovered a lot of beautiful things. I would say I have to be I hope this doesn't sound crazy, but one of the most beautiful things is myself.
Mm.
Um, discovering like my capacities, what I'm capable of, heightened levels of like creativity that I've been able to access within myself, as well as like higher levels of like self-love, and acceptance, for who I am. I've been able to discover and my authenticity and all these various things that, help me show up in the world in a way that, from the feedback I've gotten from a lot of people in my world, makes them love and respect me and value me. I don't even necessarily say respect. I say like love and value and appreciate me because of the way I show up. And I wouldn't have been able to show up as myself, if I hadn't decided to take that journey. In addition to that, some beautiful people. I've met some amazing people with amazing hearts and amazing intentions, that I've collected. I like to say I collect people on my journey, because and what that means for me is like finding like-hearted and like-minded people on this journey, and I've been able to do that, and it's been so rewarding and so valuable, to do that, along the path. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not easy to take the path least travel. And you actually named like chopping down fear and doubt. So like how do you continue moving forward when like those things show up? Because I would venture to say a lot of people want to go down the unconventional path, but they don't because they can't chop down the fear and the doubt. So if you had to speak to them, like what would you tell them so that they could show up and keep moving?
I would ask them what is their inner voice saying to them when they allow themselves to be stopped by the fear and the doubt? Like what is their inner voice saying? And is their inner voice, I like to call it my inner compass. Do you like those messages? Do those messages feel like accurate with who you view yourself as being? And if you feel like no, then I think that that's something to, examine and ask yourself, how long can you continue to ignore your inner voice in that way, your inner compass in that way? How long can you navigate that discomfort? And which is greater, the discomfort of going against yourself in those ways, or the discomfort of traversing down that path less traveled, or the path of the unknown that's just beyond your fears? Um, because we only get one life to live. Depending on your belief system, the way I think about it is like I only live once, and I gotta know. I gotta know, and I gotta trust myself. And what can my life be if I continue to trust myself? Who can I become?
Mm.
And I tend to choose that, all the time.
What is the most powerful thing you've heard your inner voice or inner compass say to you?
I love you.
Mm.
I love you, Sundiata. I accept you for who you are.
I love that. So we're going to switch gears and talk a little bit about legacy. If nothing was holding you back, what would be your next chapter? What would it look like?
So, I have a wild ambition. Um, and of course it's unconventional, but I want to be a part of creating, I want to be a part of creating a socioeconomic reality where everyone's basic needs are met, and that it's in alignment with what I call nature's economy, which is, from when I observe nature, I see a symbiotic give and take relationship. I see mutualism, and I don't see, uh, and I see a beautiful design where, by me meeting my needs, I automatically meet the needs of other elements in nature. And I feel like nature gives us a great example of that, and just our relationship with the plants, like animals and plants, where as animals, we have waste products that we dispose of in our natural ways of being that plants take in as food. Like carbon dioxide, for example, is a waste product from us. But that's food that gives them life. And then in the reverse, the same thing, or I'll even say reverse, in the circular nature, in the same way, plants have a waste product called oxygen that they just naturally give off. It doesn't require any degrees, it doesn't require any thinking, for us to give off these wastes. I'll call them byproducts because they're not waste. They're not wasted. There's no waste in nature's economy. And for them giving the oxygen, we take that in as it gives us life, it gives us food, and we don't have to pay for it, we don't have to ask for it, we don't worry about if it's going to be enough. We don't look at the different trees and plants and the phytoplankton in the sea that give off oxygen and say and monitor who's giving what amount. We just trust, we know that it's going to be there because that's the grand design of this beautiful universe. And that's the relationship that, when I think about that relationship, is a model for me when I think about how to solve our greatest challenges as human beings, and how we've evolved over time to create these barriers to being in that type of relationship with one another, and how we've created these barriers to participating in nature's economy. And I have ideas and ways to transition humans into that alignment with nature, so that we can naturally, just by being ourselves, when I wake up every day, the things that bring curiosity, the things that bring me excitement, the natural gifts that are just going to naturally come out of me because that's the way nature designed me. I trust and I know that those will naturally meet the needs of others. And I know that Tracey Samone and whoever else is watching this, you have certain gifts and things that you would do if no one gave you any money, no one, you just had all the time in the world. You would do certain things that bring you joy. And I know that would naturally meet the needs of others. And I believe there's an abundance in nature's economy, and all of our needs will be met. And I want to be a part of the people who create the bridge back, or forward, towards that.
That's beautiful. So, when it is all said and done, what do you want your legacy to be? What do you want people to say?
Um, that I cared deeply about others, and I showed up for others.
I love that. I think they already say that. Thank you so
Thank you.
much for your time and your wisdom. And thank you, leaders, for joining us. I'm Dr. Tracey Samone, Queen of Clarity and Care, your go-to strategist, facilitator, and coach, helping social impact leaders get unstuck, get things done so they can build a legacy that lasts. We'll see you all next Friday. Bye.
Thanks for having me. Peace, y'all.
Thank you for joining us for Real Talk with Real Leaders, Inspiration for Radical Freedom Dreamers. This space is here to remind you that your story, your vision, and your leadership are part of reimagining what's possible. If you're a leader ready to share your voice, scan the QR code on the screen to apply to be featured. Together, we're fueling radical freedom dreamers, leaders daring to chart new courses for our communities and our world. Until next time, keep anchoring, keep leading, and keep dreaming toward freedom.